Now I'm going to test you numerology skills by asking you to think about the magic 7. Okay? Most of you will know that 7 is quite a number in all sorts of themes, religions, and I'm sure that you can compress numbers as well. So, if we think about 2014, all right, I'm just giving you 2014, you drop the 0, 14, 2 times 7. Okay, that's just by way of example, and we're going to carry on. So 2014 will be a milestone and hopefully a magic year in many respects. It will mark the 100th anniversary of the First World War back in 1914. It will mark the 70th anniversary, drop the 0, 7, of the Bretton Woods Conference that actually gave birth to the IMF. And it will be the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. 25th. Okay. It will also mark the 7th anniversary of the financial market jitters that quickly turned into the greatest global economic calamity since the Great Depression. The crisis still lingers. Yet, optimism is in the air. We've left the deep freeze behind us, and the horizon looks just a bit brighter. So my hope and my wish for 2014 is that after those 7 miserable years, weak and fragile, we have 7 strong years. Now, I don't know whether the G7 will have anything to do with it, or whether it will be the G20. I certainly hope that the IMF will have something to do with it.
And that was Christine Lagarde. And as you see here, I have underlined here in red, she is featured in the Economist magazine The World in 2019. And as you notice, she was actually speaking to, you could say, not the average Joe or Jane in that conference there. So she was revealing information about numerology and their religion. She's definitely a servant of the Luciferian global elites. And she basically was revealing some very intricate details of that, if you were kind of following along there. And then she was mentioning about compressing numbers. And so that's where you take a number, for example, like 23, and then you compress it 2 plus 3, and then that equals 5. And then you get down, keep getting it down. Okay, so I would call that reducing or something else, but they call it compressing numbers. And that was a rare scene where you have someone, that serves the elites to talk about this. If I had a lot more of these clips, and if I could find more of these things, I'd probably be more successful in convincing people of the truth and how these people work in the English language and in all kinds of things to, promote their evil. So, she reveals some of that and what they actually believe. So it supports what I'm about to show you with Economist magazines. And then she's still, relevant now, being in the featured in the World in 2019 Economist magazine cover. So I'm going to keep going here. So I want to talk about Kabbalah, and that's actually the main religion of these elites. So if you didn't know, the world is ruled by Kabbalah. Jewish mysticism is what it is, basically. And I want to talk about what it is in a sense, before I talk about these numbers. So in Kabbalah, the central belief is God created the world with language by combining the number with the letter with the word. This is expressed in the foundational text of Kabbalah, the Sefer Yetzirah, I should say, or in English, the Book of Formation. In its opening paragraph, it states, in reference to God creating the world, He created His universe by 3 forms of expression: numbers, letters, and words. Okay, so this is the foundation of what I'm going to show you and the things I've talked about with gematria and things like that. In contrast, the Holy Bible, which begins with Genesis, where God speaks the world into existence over the course of 6 numbered days before resting on the 7th day and making it holy. If you have not read the story of creation from Genesis people that aren't believers that, are watching my video. God begins each day by making a verbal command, and God said, then bringing something new into the world, from light to water to land to stars to sun and the moon, to plant life to living creatures, etc. Before including with his last creation, mankind, who is brought into existence, is in the 26th verse of the Bible on the 6th day, and both numbers for very specific reasons. So if you didn't know, the reason why there are 26 letters of the English alphabet is because of this. So they basically steal or falsify or use God's truth and the Bible to make their own religion. And that's what the enemy does. He basically puts graffiti over what God has done, or he counterfeits what God has done, and he makes it his own, and he makes actual numbers that are legitimate and godly evil and conspiring and hidden, for hidden messages and a hidden agenda. So here is Evelyn de Rothschild, basically, one of the members of the Rothschild family. If you didn't know, the Rothschild family, probably the richest family in the world, in the trillions, their value is. Big bankers own the central banks, basically. And these people, along with the 12 other ruling families of the world, run the world. Okay, in my research, I found so much of that. If you do any kind of research, you'll see. And in fact, they brag about it in their own books, and even their little minions, like Brzezinski. It's a big new Brzezinski, Saul Alinsky. I mean, all these different people they brag about all this stuff in their books and things like that. Kissinger, all these people. So anyway, if you can poke royalty in the chest like they're beneath you, you may be a Rothschild. So here's Prince Charles getting poked in the chest by Evelyn de Rothschild. And so that gives you a pretty clear-cut view that he is over him. But most people don't know that. Most people know the billionaires, but they don't know who the trillionaires are. And that's all the big families. And so they run everything. Now, they were the robber barons. Most of them were the robber barons of the 1800s and made so much money in industrial revolutions and things. But now they're the banking cartels, and they joined together to be a banking cartel. So the Rothschilds own the Economist magazines. Okay, and I'm going to talk about, before I talk about that, I want to talk about a couple concepts. One is predictive programming. People have asked me time and time again about what predictive programming is, because I talk about it all the time. So I've shared this way back in some videos, but I'm going to share it again. So predictive programming is a subtle form of psychological conditioning used in all types of media to acquaint the public with pre-planned societal changes. When these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural progressions, thus lessening any possible public resistance, commotion, and investigation. So there's another concept to go along with the Kabbalah and the numerology that they believe. They work behind the scenes in all media to bring about these changes. I mean, so pretty much every change that you can think of over time to corrupt society, everything. I mean, anything you can think of, from aliens to social norms that have changed, marriage, I mean, all kinds of things. It's all been pre-planned and put in media way back in the early 1900s when movies came out, and then television, print media, all that stuff. I've shown in 2017, The World in 2017 Economist magazine, where this is shown in one of the cards, showing the three primary sources of power being the Vatican, London being Vatican being the spiritual source of power that they rule from, London being the financial, and Washington, D.C. being the industrial military. Okay. All right, so another concept I want to talk about, okay, is September, October, November, and December. Okay, those were the original months in the Roman calendar. So we're on the Gregorian right now, and before that was the Julian, before that was the Roman calendar. This is all revised Roman Empire that is about to take over completely. And so, of course, it would harken back to the Roman Empire. And this is what they really believe. The elites hide, and they've hidden the actual dates and the attack days in the original Roman calendar months. So, of course, September is Septem. We know as the 9th month, but they know and they believe as the 7th month. And let me give you a clue about that. And I'm going to show a clip at another video, but let me give you a clue. If you ever seen this clip or heard about this, Trump was in a rally and he supposedly accidentally said 7/11 instead of 9/11 when talking about the 9/11 attacks. Well, no, people thought it was an accident, but no, absolutely not. He is involved in that, and he was giving a clue that, so 9/11 is September 11th, but he really, and the elites like him, believe that September is Septem, which is 7. So that means that 9/23 is really 11/23. The 9/23 that we know, that's been in all kinds of movies, TV shows, and all that kind of stuff, backwards, forwards, upside down, everything. Okay, so Septem is 7, Octo is 8, Novem is really 9, and Decem, or Dec, for example, decimal system, all this kind of stuff is based on tens. Decem is 10. So these are concepts you need to understand before I go farther. So this is what they really believe. So right now we're at the end while I'm doing this video, we're at the end of September, and they consider that the 7th month. That's what the elite, they go by that. Okay, so just want to make sure you understand that concept. Okay, so we have the 2017, 2018, and 2019 Economist magazine covers. Okay, and these all three I found, they work together. I first solved the 2017 and then the 2019, and I was still working on the 2018, and finally it broke for me. The Lord really gave me insight and understanding that I needed, and these act in a sense like an unholy trinity. They work off each other. What I was shown by the Lord is they work off each other, and they decrypt each other. Okay, they're different than the previous ones, like the 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. And by the way, like I've mentioned, the 2019 cover is the 33rd cover, and they're really into 33. Okay, in fact, everything's about 33 and all these other numbers I'm mentioning. Okay, so the world in 2017, I'm gonna go over this again and share some things I've shared in my last videos, but talk about some new things as well. So when it says here Planet Trump, because Trump is on one of the cards, people think it's about Trump, but it's not. It's really about these 8 cards. These are really, you could call them, like when you're playing cards, not with tarot cards, but you're playing with regular cards, there's trump cards, depending on the game you're playing. But in these tarot cards, these ones represented are a type of trump card. They are more powerful cards called arcana cards. So there's eight of them on this cover, and they're very substantial. So they took the actual names and they changed the imagery, but they made it similar to the imagery on the original cards. This is by my research. Now keep in mind, okay, I want to say this again to all the religious nuts that look at my channel and look at my videos. I practice Ephesians 5:11. The Lord Jesus has led me into exposing these people. I do not practice any of this stuff. This is not part of my life. I worship God. I follow Jesus. I read the Word of God. And so get over yourself if you think that I'm practicing any of this stuff. I'm exposing the evil, and any logical person would understand exposing the evil to save people. If you don't understand that, go find some other channel. I just want to make that super clear to anybody. I'm here for good and for the Lord, and to help warn people of the 2 mega tsunamis that are about to hit both coasts, West Coast and East Coast, which are pre-planned. they're pre-planned to hit both coasts by these Luciferian global elites because they want to take down the United States. And then soon after that, as I will show, nuclear attacks will happen on the United States as well, getting rid of the United States as a military-industrial complex, because now China is the new industrial complex, and the military will be taken over by the UN and some other militaries. But so we have these 8 cards, and notice that these 2 cards, the Judgment card and the Star card, are both tilted. Okay, that's very important because they relate to each other because they're both tilted. They're tilted either way, but they relate to each other. And this is going to be a very key, it's going to be key to understanding that I'm doing this right. So these Arcana cards are numbered in order, starting with the Joker. I think it's called, not the Joker. What is it called? Anyway, that first one is 0, and then the Magician card, which is right here. Okay, that is number 1, and then it goes all the way up to 22. So total, there's 23 cards. Imagine that, 23 cards. But I've numbered them how they are actually in order, and this has been the clue of solving this whole thing. And then knowing that I'm doing it right, they have a confirmation in this that this is matching. So these 2 tilted cards end up making 2017, and this is the World in 2017 cover. So this is showing that I'm doing it right. It's a base clue, okay? And then so what I'm going to do is on the top row from right to left, I'm putting the numbers across, okay? So it's 9, so going backwards, because they like to do things backwards, upside down, or both. 9, 12, 0, 2, and 6, 1. Okay, and then you can't do 9 backwards. You can do it upside down, but that doesn't mean anything really in this situation. So the other ones are going to be backwards. Well, basically the 12 becomes 21, and the 2 becomes 20. And I'm going to leave this for now. We're going to go to the next level and here, and so we leave those the same. And the last one right here, we upside down and backwards is 19, because that's what they like to do. They do backwards or upside down and backwards. So there's the day, one of the days, 9/21/2019. Now keep in mind, 9 is September, okay, but it's actually not. It's November. It's November. So it's hinting to November, and I'm going to show you in the other Economist magazine how it's actually showing November also. So that's bringing it all back to November. So then the next row, you have 17, 10, 1, and 13, and that totals 923. So again, we have the notorious 923 that's been in thousands of movies and TV shows and commercials and everything you can think of, music videos and everything, all over the place. You can look it up. It's crazy. Look it up. There's so many things. It's hidden everywhere because this is the day, but it's not as obvious. I really had a problem with when I put up my last thing about 923. I really didn't think it was going to be it, but there was a lot of things so pointing to 923, but I knew it was going to be a support for what I would eventually find anyway. And then now I have all the support I need. So that's 9/21 and 9/23/2019. Again, like I said, with Trump saying 7/11, if that was September, then November would be 9/11. Okay, it would be the 9th month in November. Okay, so let me prove that. Okay, now let me talk about my wife's experience. So it's pretty crazy, and I didn't really realize this was in front of me or God revealed this until real recently. Okay, my wife had an experience, and it was basically about a week before when I look back on it, it was about a week before I actually started doing my videos. In August 5th is when I started doing my videos in 2018. And then about a week before that, God gave me the complete answer, and I didn't even know. Of course, this is how this works. Sometimes God gives you information and it's somewhat coded, and then it's to kind of work out over time with a relationship with Him and with His Son to understand these things. And that's how it works. I mean, the Bible says such things. That's what it says. So my wife was she had stopped at an intersection, and she saw this. We live in Colorado, of course. I'm showing that. But as you see the ABC here, it's just imagine any letter. She doesn't know what the letters were, but in front of her, she just happened to see the license plate in front of her, and it was 221 on the right there. And then the light was red. The light was red. That's why she was stopped. And then in the intersection on the opposite side, coming towards her, was a car turning to their left, but to her right. And she saw the license plate, and it said 222. Of course, the first few letters she doesn't remember, of course, but she saw 222, and she goes, "That's strange." And then it really got her attention, and then the car that was right next to that car that turned, it came through the intersection and right past her, and it was 223, and she's like, "What the heck?" Okay, just kind of blown away by that, and the fact that she would even see those in order, wasn't even looking for anything. Doesn't look at license plates, but you just happen to notice it, and then one after the other after the other. It's pretty crazy. And when you think about that, I told her, I said, I didn't know what that meant, but it's definitely from God, and maybe he'll show us at some point. I mean, he literally gave this to us as a gift, and I had no idea that about more than a year later, I would completely understand what it meant. Very crazy. So, I mean, if you can imagine the chances of this, a lot of people don't think in probabilities and chances, but I do. So it might help you to see it this way. What if you said to somebody, "I'll give you $50,000 that if you're driving around, you just keep watching, driving around, and I'll give you $50,000 if maybe you have a helmet cam or something, or a cam on your car or something. You're driving around, and I'll give you $50,000 if you can see one car after the other, exactly in order, a 221 on license plate, then 222, then 223. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Okay? I mean, if it ever happened, you might as well go get a lottery ticket because you won the lottery. Okay, so just that will put it in perspective and how rare and ridiculous this is. For it to happen to her is shows God, and it proves God in many ways. And I'm going to show you what it actually means now, because I've got the full understanding. So, and then it was basically it was 8/8/18, so August 8th, 2018, that I was watching. I put the videos out about Hurricane Hector, and I knew there was something with it, but I didn't know. I thought maybe the hurricane was going to cause Kilauea to go off, because I was really studying Kilauea and Hawaii, and knowing that the elites were planning to attack Hawaii with all the research I was doing and everything. And then I started looking into Decoded and some other things. It was really crazy. Okay, and then it was confirming, but Hector was just a message. It was a message about the birth of the Antichrist, and it was numbers. It happened. It went over Hawaii on 8/8/18, but nothing really happened. The next day, I'm like, "Hey, Lord, what's going on?" And then he said, "Just have some patience. I will show you." And then I think it was like 3 days later, on 8/11, right here on 8/11, I was sitting down talking to my wife, and she was talking about these license plates, and it just so happened to, while she started talking about these license plates again, saying like, there's something to this. And then I was looking at days of the year somehow. It was just really crazy. And I realized that 221, 222, and 223 are days of the year, August 9th, August 10th, and August 11th. And it was really crazy. So I thought maybe there's something to that, but I didn't know what it was. And so now, as my perspective has changed, I know so much more, and God has really revealed this to me in this time frame. They talked about, as I've been explaining, they talk about compressing numbers, as I said, by Christine Lagarde is talking about the elites. That's how they do this. But what about decompressing numbers? They talk about, some people have talked about decompressing numbers, but I would call it selectively decompressing numbers. Okay, so if you take the 221, 222, and 223, you could decompress the first two in each of those to a 1 and 1. Okay, I'm telling you, this is pure truth right here. This is how there's so many ways they're hiding these things, by manipulating numbers upside down, backwards, compressing, decompressing, anything that they can do that is kind of like a legal thing or that's plausible to hide the truth. So this is what they're doing. You have 1121, 1122, and 1123. You get out of these numbers. I've seen 222 so many times. I'm sure some of you have as well. Maybe even 223, or maybe even 221. But if you have those, it's God warning you of this time. And other things, especially 1111 is a big warning of this time. And another video, I'm going to explain why 1111 is important as well. So that easily translates into November 21st, November 22nd, and November 23rd. Now I have that understanding. And like I said, November, the Latin is really 923. So there's more evidence of that. Okay, so now we're going into 2018, the World in 2018 magazine. And then I'm going to talk briefly about these twin guys. I have a previous video and it shows the twin British guys running, and they're running to the song, it's Ghostbusters, but they say 118, call 118, or whatever. And it's showing twin attack days of, so basically, like I said, 8/11 is August 11th, which is 223. But then also, if you take 8/11 backwards, there's also using it as the twin attack days of the tsunamis on both coasts. So one for each coast, or twins. And I've shared many times in go to my series, watch those. In the meantime, if you want August attacks, go back to my channel, look at August attacks, and I show all kinds of things that equate to 8/11 and 9/11 in media, in all kinds of stuff where they're attaching all this meaning to that date. It's because it means something forwards and backwards. So backwards, 118 in a twin form is each attack day on each coast, okay? And so 118 plus 118 equals 236. Or you can look at it as 23/6 in a way. And 236 is really 623 or 623 backwards. Okay, so this is how this works. This is very crazy. It's the birth of the Antichrist. It's so many things. Now 236 also, if you take the 6, again, this is how they look at it. They look at the 6 or 9 as interchangeable. They turn upside down, right side up, doesn't matter. So a 6 can be a 9 because that's how they fool people. Another way, backwards, upside down, or backwards, both. Okay, so 239 is the 23rd of September, or 23rd of the 9th month, more accurately is what it really means, the 23rd of the 9th month. And then if you take that backwards, you have 923, or 623 with the 6 upside down is 923. So that's how that coordinates. So these numbers, they coordinate together, they mean each other because they're just backwards, upside down, and different forms of the same thing. Okay, but it's important to understand that 118 and 118 in their separate forms like that, they're the twin attack days of the tsunamis, but 811 is the attack day just after, which is the nuclear attack, and I'm going to show you that. So also, when I'm looking at the World in 2018 Economist magazine cover, I'm thinking it through, I'm asking the Lord for understanding, and I'm thinking, okay, this is definitely a message, it's encoded, it's numbers, it's numerology, all that kind of stuff. So what possibilities do we have here? So we could look at these icons right to left, like we would read, and there'd be some kind of number system in that. We could also look at, I thought about hieroglyphs. I thought about these icons maybe representing a modern type of hieroglyph. Okay, or symbols in, like Egyptian, hieroglyphs. So you can go up and down also as well. And so I put those two together and started messing with this. So you have a grid here of 9 icons across by 7 up and down. Okay, and that equals 63. 9 times 7 is 63 icons here. But if you keep, compressing, 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, this is very important. So now let's look at the Statue of Liberty in the center here. Now to the left here, you see that rain cloud, and I have that circle. So if I go down, let me go down here, and then go down 7, and then you go to 14. So you're going down, and then you're also going across. So you're reading down and then across to the right. So that ends up being, from there to the Statue of Liberty is 29. It's the 29th character from there. And then they like mirrors or opposites. So the top left, the mirror opposite would be the bottom right. And then you go up the opposite direction. And then you're going up and then to the left. And then that would be 30. The Statue of Liberty ends up being the 35th icon from there. Okay, and so 29 plus 35 ends up being 64. You can compress that into 10. And then, like Christine Lagarde said, remove the 0. They don't care about zeros. Then you get a 1. Okay, now this is important. Now look at the 63 in green and the 64 in green. The difference is 1 because the Statue of Liberty shares the same spot on either side. So that's 1 extra spot. So whatever number you get from one side, and then the mirror is going to be minus that from 64, and then you'll automatically know the mirrored side. Okay, so for example, like I said on here, 29 right here. 29, then minus from 64 is 35. That's, or you can just count it out, like I'm showing you here. Okay, now let's go again here. Let's go back to the Statue of Liberty. Let's do the opposite corners. Now we're at the bottom left instead of the top left. We're going up and across to the right. And so again, it's 35 to the Statue of Liberty. Now, it's very important to understand. See where Statue of Liberty is? It's right in the center at the top. It's got a prominent spot in the center and at the top of this. So it's very important, and it's highlighted, very important. Okay, then we're going to go opposite corner. is the right top and go down and then to the left. And that's 29 spaces, okay, 29 spots. Notice a pattern here. We have the reverse of the top here. And again, we have on the bottom, 35 plus 29 is 64, or 10, and then there's another 1. So from both, you get a 1 from each one. And that, look at that. Did you see something there? 9/11. Is that a coincidence? No. Not even close. And then let's take the 29 on top there. 2 plus 9 is 11. And then below that is 3 plus 5 is 8. Again, we're still compressing here, as they would say. And then keep going down to the 35 towards the bottom, and that's 8/11. And the 29 is 11. So do you see a pattern here? Hopefully. Pretty obvious. You have 9/11 and 2/11/8. So you have the twin attack days, like I've mentioned. And I've talked about this months and months. The twin attack days. I have twin boys, and the twins represent not only attack days, but ultimately they represent the twin births, the birth of the Antichrist at the same time in the world as the birth of the man-child in heaven, which is represented by the Revelation 12 sign and other things in the Bible. So this is all there. What my main message is: the twin births, which are going to be announced by the water breaking, in a sense, of the births of the tsunamis, and then the ultimate birth of the Antichrist and the man-child into heaven, rescued from the nuclear attacks. That's what my whole message has been. And nobody else that I've ever heard has quite the message, because I believe the Lord has put on my heart this message, and this is from the Bible. It's from Jesus himself. So you can take it or leave it. It's up to you. But I'm telling you, you will see this to some degree. I might not, maybe not exactly as I say, but very close, pretty close to what I'm saying, because this comes from Jesus. And then hopefully you'll believe the truth. Okay, another point. Every icon from all four corners, so you take any icon in this whole thing, for example, the Statue of Liberty I have here, but any icon, and then you count from all four corners to the center. You do the opposites, and you count that, and then you do the opposites again, and count that. All of those, every single icon will equal 11 when you compress them. Every single one will equal 11. Now, this is not a coincidence. Now, if you look at the original grid and what it equals 9, and then you look at this 11, or another way of looking at it is all these point to the 11th month, which is November. That's what this is saying. I'm telling you. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, here, let me show you this again. There's something else. There's several things I want to show you. Okay, this right here is a bridge, but it's shown as blue. It's to throw people off, but it's really the Golden Gate Bridge. It should be the real color of the Golden Gate Bridge, but they throw people off because it associates with something else and other things, and being blue. Associated with a tsunami. That's why it's blue. Okay, and I'm going to show you why that is. But that's also, you go up from the left and over to it, it's 38 spots, and then down from the right, the opposite again is 26, and that again is 11/8. And that's important, so because that is a coast, and that is an attack on the west coast. Okay, so then another thing is, here's the clock tower, and then that, no matter how you do it, it only represents two things: 11 and 53, and then below it 29 and 35. There's no other options. They literally duplicate those twice, each one of those. So it's really emphasizing the attacks on 8/11 and 8/11 again. And then look at this clock inside. If you can see it from your screen, I don't know if you can or not, it depends on your resolution and everything, but the little clock hands just show a little bit after 3. They're not exactly 90 degrees. It's the bottom one's a little bit after 3. And I've said that for way before I even found this, that the attack is going to be on the East Coast a little bit after 3, because it shows it very clearly in iPad Goat. And I'm going to have a video that shows that very specifically and goes through all that stuff at some point, and rehashes a lot of things I've talked about over this last year and almost 2 months. Okay, so let's go to the next one. See these here? So I talked about the Statue of Liberty at the top, and I talked about the clock tower towards the bottom, towards the middle left. And then it just so happens that these icons in between them connect in a row here. And this is not a coincidence at all. Now think about this. These are very important icons. Statue of Liberty, a missile, Kim Jong-un, and a clock tower showing the time. Versus, is a car, an average car, a really big deal? Is a happy face? Is a guitar a big deal? Is that really showing you some kind of messaging? A camel, a purse, A clown's face? I mean, no. These are just thrown in there. An umbrella? No. The ones that matter are the ones that fit numerically, numerologically, and I'm showing you what they are. So reason why these are significant, not only of the ones I've shown you, the Statue of Liberty and the clock tower, but they connect to Kim Jong-un and a missile. I mean, how many times have you heard Kim Jong-un firing a missile? I mean, 1,000 times seems like over the last several years. I mean, we are so predictively programmed with that. It's crazy. So imagine if we're attacked. It'd be very easy for people to believe that Kim Jong-un sent a missile because he fired these things in the media so many times, and pretty much everybody knows that. If you're not in locked away in a closet somewhere. So basically, if you go from the clock tower, the left middle there, and you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you get to Kim Jong-un. You go from Kim Jong-un up and to the left, 8 again, and you go from the missile up and to the left, 8 again, that's 888. Or you go from the Statue of Liberty across to the right and down like you would read, it's 8, and from the missile across and down like you would read is 8 to Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un across and down is 8, so that's 888. Okay, that's not a coincidence. That's their new beginning. They believe the new beginning is 8, just like the Bible says, and God says in his numerology, his good numerology. If you actually don't think that God has numerology, wow, where have you been living? It's all over the place. You can get books about that. Many authors have talked about godly numerology and how all the numbers, because God created them, I mean, hello, that they are actual, have meanings to every number. In fact, God created Hebrew, and Hebrew letters and words have number equivalent to all of it, and they have massive, deep meaning. In fact, Hebrew is the most accurate language on earth, and then Greek is probably next. Okay, so then basically, if you take from the clock tower and you go down, okay, and again, we're going down, not a coincidence, you go down. And then you get 6 to Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un down to the right, and you get 6 to the missile, and the missile down to the right, and you get Statue of Liberty, and so that's 666. Or you take Statue of Liberty and go backwards to the left and down, you get 10, and then a missile to the left and down, you get 10, and then Kim Jong-un down to the left, you get 10, all the way to the clock tower, and 10 reduces down each 3 times, take the zeros away, and you get 111. I mean, come on. 111, just so you know, is if you're at September 11th on the day of the year, September 11th, at that day of the year, on September 11th of any year, there's 111 days left, except for a leap year. But anyway, that's the significance of that. And some of you may have seen triple numbers or 1111, all that stuff. A lot of that is warning from God, or emphasizing something from the Lord, especially if you're a Christian. So then we have, happens to be a nuclear explosion, nuclear mushroom cloud, whatever, right? Well, that just happens to be 26 and 38 from either direction of these corners. The opposites again, mirrors, the opposites. And then from these opposite mirrors, you have 10 and 54. What's that? So that's 811 on top, obviously, when you compress them. And on the bottom, when you compress them, you got 1 and 9. So you have an 8, 11, 19. What is that really saying? Well, let me give you a clue. So let's look at the death card on the 2017. Well, you notice, no, that's crazy. You notice that the mushroom cloud on both is blue. I wonder if that has something to do with water. Yeah, it's blue because it's water. Now look at under the mushroom cloud on the death card. You see this waves. You see water. I mean, it doesn't, that's what that is. That's why it's blue. And that's why the mushroom cloud on the right on the 2018 cover is blue, because it's nuclear from blue. And it's 11-8 on either coast. And then eventually there'll be a nuclear explosions in the United States on the actual final attack day, which it represents as well. But let me show you this too. So again, 8/11, which is August 11th, is the 223rd day of the year. And then you basically decompress the 2 in the 223, and it's 11/23, which of course is 11/23, November 23rd. Then over to the left on the death card, mushroom cloud, as I shown you, it's 9/23. But again, that's Novem is really what it is. They're really referring to the 9th month, which they see as November, which is 11/23. So these decode each other. Now look at these 5 icons. They're all related to, as I've done the graphing on this, and as I've showed you already, they're all related to 8/11. We have the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's in blue for some reason. Then we have a meteorite. Then we have the Statue of Liberty. We have the clock tower, and we have a nuclear explosion relating to water. Okay, so they're all related to 8/11, and then that relates to 118 on either coast. Okay, twin attack days, and they're all related to both. Okay, and then so again, 118 is 223. The 223rd day of the year is August 11th. Again, they've synced so many things, these different days, but it doesn't mean that's the day. It's just more code to add to the final day. It's like a maze that they want to trap Christians in, so they don't understand what's really happening, or anybody really. But in each dead end they have, and along the path of the dead end, they have all these clues that get you to the final solve of the maze, or the final day. And that's how this all works, because the enemy, this is the ultimate truth, I'm telling you, the enemy keeps rising up these days and these times, and he keeps making it look like something's going to happen, and then he drops it down. And especially September is proving to be a big nothing burger, and we're all taking a big bite. And it's really showing, it's a type or a shadow of November 23rd. So 223 again is 1123, which is 1123, November 23rd. Here's another example of predictive programming. This is by a brewery, and they have this label on a wheat beer that they do. And look at this, it's called Hell or High Water Melon. I mean, come on, can you get more obvious? I mean, I think it's super obvious, but most people wouldn't see it at all. They can't see it like they can see their hand in front of their face. To me, it's that obvious. But look, you got the Statue of Liberty sitting on the Golden Gate Bridge, the two attack coasts represented by the best icons that people know. And how many times have we seen the Statue of Liberty and the Golden Gate Bridge destroyed? I mean, in movies and TV shows and stuff, many, many times. It's just crazy. So hell or high water melon, and both. And then you can look at the clouds, and even the other color looking at like tsunami wave coming or something. I mean, it's all in there. If you can't see it, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Okay, so that's another example of predictive programming that's all over the place. So I'm going to have another representation of this white Statue of Liberty that I showed you on the grid pattern, the icons there. And I'm going to show you how ultimately there's another message in these as well when you add them all up. And this took me a while to do, but I'm just going to show you some of it. Okay, so basically, if you take all the possible directions from all the corners, so for example, bottom left and going to the right, top left going to the right, these two are together because they're both left. One's top, one's bottom, one's top. Okay, so these are twins in a sense. Bottom right and top right, they're both on the right, but they're mirrors of each other because they're both on the right. And then they're both going left. Then bottom left and top left, they're both on the left, but the one's bottom was top, and these are going opposite directions. Then bottom right going up and top right going down. Okay, so you make these are the numbers here. You go 59 in, and then 5, 59, 5, 35, 29, 35, 29. Okay, and then each of these are twins or opposites, so you basically reduce those. So we have 59 is really 5 plus 9 plus 5 is 19. Then 5 plus 9 plus 5 is 19. 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 9 is 19. 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 9 is 19. Okay, this is a lot of repetitive stuff for me, but here we go. And then then we have these 19s. 1 plus 9 is 10, and 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 and 10 is 20. Again, this is how she says compressing numbers. And you have to do it a certain way. There's usually a few ways you can do it, but if you do it their way and you find it, it's not too hard to find. There's usually just a few ways to do it. You can find their codes. And then, again, this is 19, which is 10 and 10, which is 20. And then, of course, you get rid of the zeros, and then 2 and 2 are 22. Okay, now let's look at another possible combination. I've done all these in all kinds of ways, all the mirrors of each other, but I'm just going to show you these two sets. So bottom left to the right, bottom right to the left, top left to the right, top right to the left, top left down, top right down, bottom left up, bottom right up. Okay, and again we have the same numbers, but they're in different order on purpose. Okay, because it's all about the code and showing the code inside. Okay, and then again, 5 plus 9 plus 5 plus 9 is, 5 plus 9 is 14, 5 plus 9 is 14, 14 is 28. 5 plus 5 is 10. 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 is 22. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 and 8 is 16. And then we keep going down to those added together are 11. Then we keep going down, and those added together, 11 is 22. Okay? All right, now, do you see something in just those reductions or those decompressed numbers? The 19, the 20s, the 11s, the 22s, do you see something in there? I'm gonna let you take a look at it before I show you what's actually in here. And again, based on what I already know, what I know about the other magazines covers, and what I know about iPad Go, because this all works together. This is all a grand scheme by these demons that work in people. And here it is, 11, 22, 20, 19. And again, that confirms what I've already showed you that's already in those, that I've already showed you. This is just another confirmation of what I've already showed you in the 2018 Economist magazine cover, and the 2017 and the 2019 that's coming, and I've already talked about some of that in my previous videos. Okay, so in light of that, I'm going to do this 2017, which I've already proven is 921 and 923. I'm going to do it in a little bit different way and show you how it confirms itself. Okay, so if I take 9 and 12 right here, that becomes 21, and then the 2 and the 6 and the 1 become 9. So there we go, 21st of the 9th month. And then down here, there's 923 again. Okay, then now put those away. Now add up the top row, and that equals 30, and the bottom row, and that equals 31. And then 30 plus 31 is 61. But again, they like to do things upside down and backwards, so that is 19. That confirms the year in another way. So the 2017 cover is pointing to 2019 in several ways. And then let's bring back those red numbers again. And we have the 21st of the 9th month, 2019, and the 9th month, the 23rd day of 2019. There we go. Again, it's 11:21 through 11:22 to 11:23 is what it's really saying. Okay, and so then again, the World in 2019 cover first came out. By the way, the covers came out, you won't believe this, the last few years, just before the year that they were representing, on November 21st. I mean, if that's not a hint too, I don't know what is. So November 21st is the first attack day. November 22nd, 11:22 is the second attack day on either coast of tsunamis. And then 23rd is the final attack of nuclear, okay? And so we have the World in 2019 cover. That this one came out a few weeks later after the first one was released. And again, the black cover at that time was the 33rd cover. So they were showing to a lot of people who were watching blackness, darkness in 2019. That was very ominous for a lot of people who knew what was going on. And then finally they came out with this 2019 cover, which showed a lot more. And then what I did to solve it was the Lord led me to reverse this cover and put it right next to it. Okay? And so the mirror is right in the middle. See where this red spot is? It's the mirror. And right above that red line is a face. And it is the Locust King that's going to come out of the pit. On the bottom, below that line, straight below that line, is the pit. And right down here is a little locust coming out of the pit right here. It's separated right here. By the way, Hawaii is in the center, roughly the center of the Pacific Ocean, give or take a few hundred miles, whatever it is. But it is the cap of the pit. And CERN knows this, and it's going to open up by exploding Kilauea / Mauna Loa, and Mauna Loa is the biggest volcano in the world for a reason. It's the cap to the abyss, and they're going to explode it and blow it up. And then at the same time, when these tsunamis come, the abyss is going to be open, which CERN plans to do, and that's all shown right here. There is a locust right here. If you can, take this image and blow it up, or look at my last videos about this, and you will see it. I will get into some more detail at some point. But you can go up the spine I've created by taking both of these and putting them together, and you can see tons of faces. You can see this Locust King right here in his chest, his face. He's got a big smile. He's got antenna coming off right here. And then you can take this whole thing upside down, and there's even more faces and images. You won't believe it. If you actually do this and take these, you won't believe it. It's impossible for all these faces that morph into each other just happen. These are all the spirits that are going to come out of this abyss right here. And then, like I've shown before, this whole face right here is Molech. I, knows he's the bull god, Molech, that they sacrifice children to, like I've covered in my last videos. Horns right here, the 2 horns, or a full set of rack of horns this way, and then these horns come down here, however you want to look at it. But if you look at this from a distance and kind of squint your eyes, you'll see his face right here, eyes, nose, and he's coming out of the pit. And then look, Trump is his ears, like he has the ear of Trump, or Trump has the ear of him, or whatever, however you want to say that. Trump is all part of this. This is crazy, man. I have so much more I'm going to talk about in the next video as well on the 2019, but I'm just covering this right now, and I'll be done to make these videos a little bit shorter in episodes. Okay, so then you go from the mirror, the center, of course, to the right is 2019, as you can see, but then you read from the center over, because it's the mirror, and that actually is 219, or the 21st of the 9th month. And then you add 2019 to it, and you get the 21st of the 9th month, 2019, which is the 21st of November. The 9th month is November, and 2019. And then, don't believe me still? Well, look at this crescent moon right here, which they gave us. It's not this crescent moon over here, because this was just this is not the real one. The reflection is the real one right here. This is the real messages. This is the real one right here, which shows you the real date attached to the real year. And look at this crescent moon, which is a 33.3% moon. By the way, a lot of people have also seen 333 for a number of reasons, and this is one of those reasons. So look at this moon. Well, this moon happens to be exactly 33.3% at 9 p.m. I told you it was a little bit after 9 in Hawaii is going to be, and this is what this is showing. Thursday, November 21st, 2019, exactly a 33.3% moon, and even more of the emphasis is not so much on 33.3, is the dark space representing the birth of the Antichrist, because Obama is from Honolulu, supposedly. He was born there, right? Yeah, right. Anyway, and so the rest of this dark area is 66.6%, or 666. Or, in a one way to look at it, is it's 2/3 of the moon, which is the same thing, 66.66666. And that's why they like 23, because for many reasons, but 23 is 2 divided by 3, which is 0.6666. Anyway, so there's more evidence that November, and why they showed that moon. So by the way, that moon and the date of the moon are right there. This is the decode, I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm about done with this video. In my next video, I'm going to completely decode the Mona Lisa. If you didn't even know that Mona Lisa can be decoded, now you know, and you won't believe what I'm going to show you on the next episode of 2019. So stay tuned, and I'm going to ask all of you to help me out here, please. This is very serious, even though I kind of joke and stuff a little bit. I mean, I could display my sense of humor a lot more, but this is very serious. I take this completely seriously. I've seen things you don't want to see. The Lord showed me things you don't want to see. And this is so important to me that I warn people. And you need to know that it's coming, and people need to know. And I'm begging all of you, if you care about people at all, because when this day comes, whenever it is, again, this is still my theory, whenever it is, if you care about people at all, you will warn them. And I'm asking all of you, if you see something to all this, and you see the numbers I see, and you see the evidence I'm going to show you in the next episodes as well, then I ask you to share this with as many people as possible. I don't make one dime. In fact, this all costs me money. Right now, I'm taking time out of work, and I could be making money right now. I'm serious. I'm doing it in the middle of the day right now, in the morning, and I could be working right now, and I'm not making money. So this is not only not making me money, it's costing me money, honestly, and I don't care about that. I'm just making a point that I'm doing this because I care about people. I care about you, each one of you, whether you believe in God or not. In fact, the ones who don't believe in God need to know this even more, because it's coming, and when it comes, it may be too late for you, and especially if you're on the coast or you're in Hawaii. Oh my goodness. So I'm asking every one of you to share this with as many people as possible. And if you, minimum 2 people, please, minimum 2 people. I'm also asking you to help me with sharing this information with as many YouTube channels as you visit or comment on. Please, I beg you. Let the YouTube channel in the comments know, hey, check out this video, and put on a link, or, the tsunamis are coming, or just check out this guy with his decodes of the Economist magazine. It's crazy or amazing, or call me a nut. I don't care. Just get people to this information, Because when this is put in front of their mind, it doesn't matter if they believe or not. When this all happens, they will believe. A lot of them will. And it may save their lives. It may get them to Jesus right away, because in my videos, I talk about Jesus. He is the reason for me to exist in the first place. He saved my life so many times, I can't even say. I don't get into all that on my videos because I'm really about the message. But he saved me so many times. I've been through hell and back with Jesus, and I know him. I've had a personal relationship with him for over 20 years. So I'm asking you for that. I'm also asking you to share this with as many people as possible. Okay? So there's one more thing I was going to ask, and I can't remember right now. So I might put it in the top of comments if there's anything else I have to say. But I'll leave it at that. And this is my first episode of several. And, I hope this is serious evidence for you, because this time is coming soon. And I'm pretty confident in this date. But you know what? I don't know the future. I don't have a crystal ball, like I've said 1,000 times. This is just my best guess based on what the Lord showed me. And that's what he does. He doesn't, all you that know and follow him, you know how he works. He doesn't give you everything. Even though you want it really bad, he doesn't give you everything you want. And it's got to be by faith, and it's got to be trusting him. And in the process, in your desperation, everything, you learn about a relationship with him, and you need him. The more you need him down the road, the more he comes to you. And it's a process. It's a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's all things that happen in the journey. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. This is Aaron with Exalted Lamb 1. Over and out.